Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome on board. Let me just explain a few things about external lights. Starting with navigation lights, or commonly known as nav lights. Nav lights, they consist of three colors, red, green and white, and the placement of these lights on an airplane are based on international standards. Let me just show it to you. Nav lights are placed in such a way that from any angle, one or two lights are always visible. Right wingtip has green lights, left has red, and the rear end of the airplane has white. Now the angle of visibility is what matters. The red and green lights are there on the wingtips, and the visibility angle is 110 degrees starting from the front towards the sideways. Whereas the white light has a visibility angle of 140 degrees, which is on the rear end, and making the total of 360 degrees. So if you're flying and if you see red and green both together, that means the airplane is headed towards you. Or I might add, the airplane's nose is pointing towards you. And if you see a single green light, that means you're only seeing the right part of the airplane. And red is the left part, white, as mentioned, is the rear end. And when you should turn it on? Well, they're always on, day or night, except if the airplane is in the hangar for maintenance or if it's supposed to be shut for a very long time. Secondly, logo lights. Logo lights are the lights used only during night so that the logo on the tail is visible for identification. Then comes the beacon lights. A beacon light, or sometimes even called as anti-collision lights, they are bright rotating red lights on top of an airplane, or in few airlines it's also on the bottom part, that we put on only before starting the engines, or just before we start the pushback, just to let the unauthorized ground personals to know to get away. I said unauthorized personnel because the tow truck and the ground engineer, they are the only ones who are allowed to stay close to the airplane when the beacon light comes on. And after pushback, once the engines have started, we've done all the checks and we're ready for taxi. As the name suggests, it's time to turn the taxi lights on. And in most airliners, along with the taxi lights, you also put the runway turnoff lights on. It just gives you a little bit of visibility on the sideways. And last but not the least, the landing lights and the strobe lights. Landing lights, one of the most powerful lights in the airplane and visible from very far away. They come on just before entering the runway, and generally they go off at about 10,000 feet as you climb. And during your approach and landing, they come on as you pass 10,000 feet. And once you've landed and you vacate the runway, you put the landing lights off. Strobe lights, on the other hand, they are the flashing white lights on the wingtips, just next to the navigation lights. And they are to be put on from runway to runway, which means they turn on along with the landing lights when you're about to depart, just before entering the runway. And it stays on throughout the flight, goes off only once you land and vacate the runway. So that's just about it for this video. I hope this clears the basic idea of using external lights. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Ciao.